Now
see.
I look in the mirror. First of all, when Mary came out with that song, Good Morning Gorgeous, that became our mantra, like every morning. Like even when we say hi to each other, it's Good Morning Gorgeous. And I feel like a lot of times, sometimes we are always like filling our minds up with the negative, you know what I mean? Instead of making a choice to see the positive. You know, it's like people seeing the glass half empty instead of half full. A lot of times you could experience, you know, an obstacle and you look at it as it's the worst thing in the world instead of celebrating what you learned from it, the lesson, the growth, the inspiration, the motivation.
The Touré show. Okay, though. The Touré show. Okay, though.
That might be the best question I've ever been asked.
You're a phenomenal person. I mean, you legendary.
I am a fan of you, my brother.
Tasha Smith is an amazing character actress who's been in Hollywood forever. After escaping a wild childhood in Camden, New Jersey, she was on the pole when she was a teenager. Now she's teaching acting. She's starring in Survival of the Thickest. She is a director. She's doing it big in Hollywood. We talk about all things Hollywood and her dating life. Let's get into it. It's Tasha Smith on Touré Show. Tasha.
Yes.
How are you?
Hi, T. Last time I saw you was outside of a hotel at night. When I was directing, I think I was directing Harlem at the time.
Yeah.
When I saw you.
Yeah.
Isn't that something? And I was
doing?
directing. Bro, I am so happy.
You have, as an actor, you have an amazing instrument.
Thank you.
Because you're gorgeous.
Bro, thank you. Thank you. I feel like I'm just like allowing myself to accept. You're not too bad looking, Tosh.
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
You know how when we're younger, we have all these insecurities, self-doubts, you know what I'm saying, and all of that stuff, you know, based on like previous relationships and all that, you know?
So do you look in the mirror and go, okay, yeah, I'm beautiful?
Now I do.
You do?
Now
What do you say? What do you
now
really see?
I look in the mirror. First of all, when Mary came out with that song, Good Morning Gorgeous, that became our mantra, like every morning. Like even when we say hi to each other, it's Good Morning Gorgeous. And I feel like a lot of times, sometimes we are always like filling our minds up with the negative, you know what I mean? Instead of making a choice to see the positive. You know, it's like people seeing the glass half empty instead of half full. A lot of times you could experience, you know, an obstacle and you look at it as it's the worst thing in the world instead of celebrating what you learned from it, the lesson, the growth, the inspiration, the motivation from even being resilient to get over it. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like as my younger self spent a lot of times looking at more of the pain and the trauma, which made me not feel that beautiful. But now my older self is like, I can't believe you didn't think that girl right there back then was gorgeous. You know what I'm saying? I wish that I, you know, had the body I had at 25 or 30, but at the space that I'm in now in my life, I'm really owning, like self-love is really something that's, you know, resonates with me and how essential it is. It's not selfish, but it's essential. You know, it helps me to be a better person. It helps me to be a happier person. It helps me to accept my beauty. It helps me to allow my friends around me to be who they are and to be more honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel like I'm hiding in the dark.
You could be more accepting of yourself because you're older.
Yes.
Right? Because we're grown and some of the insecurities of youth fade away.
Yes. That's why when Bevy Smith says it gets greater later, we get more wisdom. We get more fearlessness. Our resilience has blessed our souls. You know what I'm saying? I feel really good. And that's why, like, I remember I ran into D Nice one day, and I was like, "How you doing?" He was looking around. He was like, "Yo, Tosh, I'm fantastic." I said, "Isn't that a shame how we have to whisper that, because a lot of times people can't
But if we say it too
handle-"
loud, we're worried.
You
that
know
we're
what I
gonna lose
mean?
it.
And I said to him, I said, "I think we're going to do this." I said, "Let's have a party." And it's a party where we can brag and celebrate ourselves, where we have full on permission, like no haters allowed, where we get to literally brag about the blessings that we have in our lives.
Even as you lay it out as a space with permission to do that, I still feel myself entering that space and be like,
You got to be humble.
if you know,
and
you know.
got to be, yeah.
If you know, you know. I'm
Yeah.
not going to tell you.
Yeah, but
about
no.
me. Like I'm not going
Right.
to brag.
Yeah, but
like,
see, because we feel like that's not being humble, right? But I don't feel like, I feel like it's a testimony. I feel like it's literally a testimony, okay? Like the words of our testimony can inspire someone else. So if we change it around and look at it as this is not a bad thing. Like if I talked about like from where I came from to where I am now, that is my testimony. I should be able to brag about that. I should be able to brag about the fact that I came from Camden, New Jersey, was probably coined as the one most likely not to succeed and to drop out of high school at 14 years old. Mom was dealing with her struggles. You know what I mean? Bartending at a strip club, stripping at a strip club, doing drugs from the age of 14 to 25. And now at 54 years old, I look this good. I'm directing, I'm acting, I'm producing, I'm teaching, I'm empowering other people to pursue their purpose in the arts. That is a testimony that I should happily brag about from the top of every mountain I get a chance to be on. True. Because there are other kids that are growing up with trials, tribulations, pain, experiences. And guess what? They need to know it gets greater later. And they're going to see and discover their resilience through that very trial that they're going
and I feel like when I see you on screen, you're real. I don't feel acting. I don't feel stuff. I feel this is real. This is who she really is in this moment.
I feel like the process that I've been taught as an actor, my teacher, Ivana Chubbuck, that has an incredible book called The Power of the Actor. When I came to her, I felt like I had to hide my pain, my anger, my sadness, my joy. I literally was walking around like with a mask on. And she really helped me to allow myself to use all of what I experienced and put it in the art and put it in the character, release it into the character. And so for me, it is real. Like, but I feel like
The moment is real.
for me, yes.
When you're acting, it's real.
Yes, it's real. And I feel like I'm more comfortable at 55 exposing a lot of things that I may have been afraid to expose. I feel like I'm forever learning, Touré. I feel like I'm forever growing. I feel like I'm forever discovering new aspects of myself that I get to,
Some people are a little extra sometimes. And I'm like, they're acting or they're performing. And I'm like, you're being.
That's a compliment.
Yeah.
I promise you.
Yeah.
Like, I really appreciate it because, like, I'm hard on myself a lot. You know what I mean? And I still feel like I'm growing. And with every opportunity I have as an actor, I'm discovering more parts of myself that I can give to the character, And so I think, like, coming from you to say that to me, honestly, I really appreciate it.
For me, one of our great moments was you in Empire and your cookies sister.
Yes.
And Cookie Lyons was this force of nature.
Yes.
Taraji took over the show.
Yes, she was a
right?
beast.
And Cookie was the one that you watched for, who made shit happen.
Mm-hmm.
And when her sister showed up, and it was like, oh, Cookie got a problem. And it wasn't extra. It was being. And just you could be in the moment with her, not extra, but I'm like, oh, she met her match here. Her sister can stand toe to toe with her. Like,
Yeah,
now,
and you
and
know,
that's crazy.
You know what was beautiful about that experience with Taraji? Like, Taraji is such a powerful actress, and she's such a force. She is a force of nature. Like, I can't even begin.
Yes.
Like, her instrument is beyond. Like, she is fantastic. She is funny. She is emotional. Like, she can do so many things. But one of the most beautiful aspects of her is that she is not intimidated by anybody else's talent. Like, she will allow everyone to shine within the space that, yeah, she's number one. Yeah, it's her, right? But she does not have like jealousy or insecurities and all of those things. And as an actor, to be able to go onto a show where I don't know what number I was, but I wasn't close to number one, I tell you that.
Right.
But to have like her and Terrence and, Vivica and all of them to work within a space with them, but still feel like when they pass me the ball, I could take it and I could make my shot. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like an all-star team. It's like an all-star team of players.
I mean, you've been around for a long time. You know her before.
Yeah, we've known each other for many, many, many years.
So when they're like, okay, we hired Tasha to be your sister, she's like, okay, yeah, that could.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
You know what I
that
mean?
could
Like
work.
100%.
And do y'all like meet and start to work out like a vibe in a relationship?
No, we haven't done that. We didn't do that on Empire. We're actually closer now. I mean, we were very close on Empire, but it was like we didn't really have time to really cultivate our relationship because of the schedule working. She had a lot of demand on her. You know what I mean? But since the show was over and we got home back to LA.
But you got to figure out the vibe on set. Because we don't have prep time.
Everyone, what was deep is that it wasn't about, we would run lines like before we got to set, but it wasn't the kind of environment where, we were getting together and doing that like that. But everybody was okay when another person had the ball. Like, it wasn't this fight for competition. It was a real community. It wasn't competitive there. Like, it wasn't about competition. It was about community. We're all a part of this community called Empire. And everyone gets a chance to play their part. And when you got it, everybody fall back. You get it. And
that's a good day for you when Empire calls, because that show was a phenomenon when they pulled you into the mix, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, we just got drafted by the number one team, right?
Oh my God. It was a blessing.
Right?
I'm not gonna lie. Thanks to Lee Daniels, like, honestly, it was a blessing. Yeah. And I auditioned for Cookie, and I didn't get it. Taraji got it, and I was like, yes, of course she did. And then he's like, I could give you Carol, the sister. I said, I'll take anything.
Yeah.
I was so obsessed with the show and so obsessed with their writing and everything.
You were on another legendary show, Nip Tuck.
That was so long ago.
I know, I loved Nip
Tuck.
Tuck.
I played a trans woman. On that show, a therapist.
Was that 20 years ago?
That was a long time ago.
Because we weren't really, because trans people were less visible in society 20, 30 years ago. They existed, but they weren't in media constantly. And
I know. It was amazing, honestly. It was like so deep. Like, and I was a therapist, and we would do like group therapy with all the, trans men and women that would come on.
So you were a trans woman?
Yeah.
How did you prepare for that?
Wow. I don't even know at the time that it was about playing a trans woman. For me, it was about the therapy aspect of it, and how important it was to help the people that were there, you know what I mean, to deal with their transitioning and all of that stuff. And so it was probably, I was probably more focused on, it was so long ago, but I was more focused on the essence of what my role was as a therapist.
Any script I give you that you're going to do as a job, what do you do between here's a script and when you're going to hit the set so you're ready to go?
Well, I mean, I always work with a coach. I enjoy the process of coaching. And based on my background, as far as like the way I was taught as an actor, I break the script down. I investigate the script. I become like the biggest investigator that I can be. I want to understand like what my character's overall objective is. Like, where am I headed? What do I need? How does this scene help me accomplish what my need is? You know, so I try to break it down from a very technical space, and then I try to like fill in the blanks, because there's always a lot of subtext. And then aside from the subtext, you might want to research things about therapists and that whatever that is. Like, if a person's playing a cop, it's not just about, you're a human being. So you want to look at the humanity of the character. And then you may add in other aspects, the physicalities, you know, the sense memory, you know, it's according to what the character is. But there are many, I feel like, when you're breaking down a character, you go in your toolbox. You know, it's no different than building a house, right? It's no different than renovating a house. You need tools in order to renovate, right? You may need a saw, you may need a hammer, you may need nails, you may need, you know, wood, you may need metal. You may need certain things in order to build the foundation of that house. So I'm just trying to always keep my toolbox filled and see what tool do I need for this character.
What is nails and wood as far as an actor?
As an actor, you know, I mean, it could be, you know, your joy. It could be your pain. It could be, you know, your sense memory. It could be your substitution. It could be your inner monologues. It could be your place in fourth wall. It could be your moment before. It could be your, you know, I remember I was on a show a long time ago and I was playing a neurosurgeon. I remember I also played in Addicted, I played a hypnotherapist. I had never gone through hypnotherapy before, so I took myself through hypnotherapy. I met with a hypnotherapist to really understand hypnotherapy. You know what I mean? So it's so many different things that could be the tool, could be the hammer or the nail. And for me, it's based on the character.
Okay, so you're on Survival of the Thickest now, Michelle Buteau, Netflix. It's a fun show. We have been talking about your more serious shows.
Yes.
Is the preparation for something that's a little lighter the same?
No, I mean, yes, it is.
I mean, you take it seriously, but it's different.
It's lighter, but it still takes a lot of work. Like, I worked with Carl Ford on that, who is Susan's son, you know, Susan Batson's son. And I just enjoy the collaboration of like investigating a character, you know what I mean? So what we dealt with was more of the emotional space and the self-discovery that Marley was going through, and how will that serve as Mavis's character? Like, it's about friendship and community, right? But my character has gone through some self-discovery, has accepted kind of where she was. First season, she was a lot more vulnerable, a lot more timid, a lot more trying to figure out her life. And you saw her going through her therapy process. But then in the second season, you see her owning exactly who she is, owning the fact that she wants to really explore relationship, you know what I mean, with women without a man being there. Because even in the first season, you see my character talking about, you know, how she's had threesomes before, but when she was with that woman alone in that locker room without the guy in the room, then she discovered, well, maybe this is something I might enjoy without doing it just to please a man. Because even me talking to some of my friends about their threesome experiences, because I almost feel like I'm not cool because I haven't had a threesome before.
You never had one?
I swear.
How is that possible?
Sometimes I'll be like, Am I not cool? Am I kind of
You
corny?
was wild in the streets, all your teens. You was in the clubs.
I just never had a it was like I went through this. I'm digressing a little bit, but I don't know if you know this, but I went through this time where I was celibate from like the age 25 to like 33, 34 years old. And I'm a little old fashioned, you know what I mean? Like, and sexually, you know what I'm saying? And so, I'm very hetero and I am very attracted to men. If anything, I'd want two men. Let me stop. I was laughing, telling I think I was on the Breakfast Club. I was like, I'm like a gay ass man. You know what I'm saying? I want what gay men want. You know what I mean?
I'm sure you could make that happen.
But it's just what I had never experienced.
You mean you want like gorgeous, muscle-bound pretty boys?
I'm just saying, but I just like men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was something I was going to tell you about that. Oh, when I was talking to some of my friends about their experiences with threesomes, I realized a lot of my friends did it more so to please their partners, more than them wanting to do it themselves. And I think that's what, that's what Marley was going through in the first season. But what she ended up discovering is that I like doing this for me. I don't want to have to do this in order to save a relationship or keep a relationship. This is what I want.
Okay, that makes sense. Wait, the other thing you were saying about how much you like men.
Yes.
And there's a spark in your eye when I talk about men.
I do.
What does a man have to do to get Tasha's attention to get a date, get a second date, get a third date?
Be kind, be a gentleman, be comfortable in his skin, not being intimidated by the essence of who I am, because I just am who I am. But at the same time, I still have a lot of vulnerability. Although I might feel very alpha female, which I am, but that alpha female still needs a chest to rest on. And being willing to be a chest for me to rest on. You know what I'm saying? Just because I'm strong doesn't mean that I am not in need.
Do you feel like you sometimes need to turn down the alpha female to get or to make the man feel comfortable?
If a guy is confident enough to approach me, he'll discover outside of what we are, what I am, I'm very quiet at home, T. Sometimes I'm sitting in silence, or I'm playing jazz, or I'm reading something, or I'm meditating, or I'm cooking with music with Terrace Martin in the background. Literally, as loud as I may be, when I'm out, it's almost a little bit of persona, because once I'm home, I decompress completely. I literally will sit in silence, or I will cook in silence.
Are you internally silent in those moments?
Yes.
You are?
I want to hear what my inner self is saying.
Yeah, but your inner voice is talking.
I try to be as quiet as I can be so I can hear.
Yeah.
But I try to listen with my heart.
So there's an internal conversation going on.
It's not always, because sometimes when I sit in silence, I try to stop the voice here.
Okay.
You follow what I'm saying?
Because you're a meditator.
I try to stop that. I try to quiet myself to hear my inner self.
A deeper voice.
Exactly. Okay. And I can't hear that all the times with the noise. So that's why, because when we're out, especially during this press run and everything, it's so much talking, it's so much noise, there's so much stuff, it's blah, 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 blah. But I really do try to be quiet more than most people know. Or would understand about me unless they were intimate with me.
So I got to be willing to be quiet to be with you.
You could probably talk more than I would talk. But when I have something to say, you could best believe it's probably going to be kind of good.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I feel like I want to hear that.
What's he probably going to look like? The guy who has a real shot with you. It's not a type, but there's probably certain things that will give him a big advantage.
That is a very interesting question because I can't necessarily say that I have like this certain type.
Right.
Like where he's got to be this or he's got to be that. You know what I mean?
He's got to be taller than you.
I prefer someone at least my height or taller. I prefer that.
It's got to be
Although I've dated guys that were not as tall.
Got to be athletic.
You know, it's fun to have someone athletic because I do like to work out and I do enjoy having a partner to work out with. So to have someone with a little height and that's somewhat athletic, I want to be motivated. I don't want somebody that's not athletic because I like to cook a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So I want somebody that I can hike with, that I could walk the beach with, that I could bike ride with, that I could go to the gym with and do things like that because I need to stay fine.
Yes. The plan is working. Does he have to be black?
Right? I'm sorry?
Does he have to be black?
I am attracted to black men, and I've been mainly attracted to black men. And have I dated white guys? Yes. Have I dated other than white? Yes. And other than black? Yes. But I feel, I'm such a black girl. I just, you know what I mean? I might say nigga one day. I can't say that in front of the white guy and his family. I mean, that's just me. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm blackity black. I'm black. I just am. Like, I've just been more attracted. And I know some of my friends say to stay open, but I'm more attracted to, I mean, it's just what I'm.
Light or dark?
Why are you asking me this, T? What the hell? Why are you doing this? What are you doing? T, what are you doing? What is happening right now?
Okay, we can talk about directing after this.
God.
You started it.
I like all. I like all. I'm not looking for a light-skinned black man, a dark-skinned black man, and I want a nice black man that is strong enough to allow me to be who I am and also allow me to rest on his chest.
Could he be an actor?
He could be anything.
Because some actors are like, I would never date an actor.
I mean, I love our industry. He could be anything. I'm not opposed to any of it.
Tell me about
I'm gonna kick you.
Directing. Oh, that'd be fine.
I love you.
That'd be fine.
Oh my God. Why are you trying to set me up with somebody? No, let me stop. I'm joking.
Kidding?
I'm
Are you
joking.
kidding? Are you kidding?
I'm actually good, though.
If I knew a man.
No, but I'm good. I'm good. Okay, let's talk about directing.
Wait,
what was your question?
Wait, you're good?
Yes.
Good. Okay.
I'm good.
Okay.
I am very content and very happy, and I am attracting exactly what I'm supposed to attract.
What does that mean?
It means exactly what I said. But in order to do that, you gotta clear space. Like, seriously. Like, I was like dating a lot, but it was situations that I knew, nah. And then once I cleared space, I've been attracting what I'm supposed to attract. And I'm gonna leave it there, T. Okay. I'm gonna leave it there, okay?
I think that's a beautiful way of putting it. Directing has been a really important thing for you, really valuable thing for you. What makes you different than other directors? Because you know what they want to hear. You know what the actors need to hear and how they need to be dealt with.
One, teaching acting for over 20 years, I did not know that was like my training to become a director. Like, I didn't know that. I thought that I was just there to give to everyone else, but I didn't realize that those experiences that I would have in class 3 times a week in my studio, teaching acting, putting up scenes, blocking scenes, working on characters, and that I was literally exercising my instrument to direct. And I am myself. Like, I am not trying to be, anyone else out there. I feel like we have to be authentic to our own voices, right? I'm not trying to be like this person or that person or that person. I am trusting Tasha, and I'm trusting my vision. I'm trusting my voice. And I'm trusting the fact that I feel like one of my superpowers as a director is my ability to be able to communicate with actors. And that came from teaching acting.
You worked on Bel Air, which is a really, really interesting show on Peacock.
Yes.
I mean, like, we grew up watching
Yes.
the original, so to see the turn and,
Yes.
more dramatic and
Yes.
more visual, more cinematic, and, it's been really interesting. So what did you do with your turn there?
Well, I directed 2 episodes, I think the first and second season. And I remember I had a very emotional episode, which was when Will's best friend came to visit from Philly. And they ended up getting into an argument because, remember that?
Yeah.
And he came and he's feeling like, you're not the same person I knew, you know what I mean? And we've all experienced that. I've experienced that as an actor, leaving Camden, New Jersey, moving to LA, becoming successful, and my friends feeling like I've changed. But that was a very powerful episode for those 2 actors, for Jabari and for the other young man that played, his best friend. It was a very powerful moment, but inspiring them to allow themselves to be vulnerable within their brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? Was really important. The intimacy of their frustration, their anger, their insecurities, their fears, all of that stuff. Like, we really worked hard on those scenes. And I just try to help inspire actors to tap into whatever their truth is and understanding exactly what the text is and how we can deepen the text and create more substance within the text.
You say that so deeply, and I'm thinking about how a lot of Hollywood now is about intellectual property and making a movie around Barbie or Jenga or Kool-Aid or Minecraft, and these are not really going to lead to the compelling stories that we grew up on. Right? The original stories about real people. These are essentially 2-hour ads for Spider-Man or whatever. I mean, even Black Panther, which we love, is like, that's an ad. It's an ad for a character. So how do you feel about that? Like, you're like one of these people who are all about acting and truth and like art, and the direction is AI and intellectual property and movies based around products.
I mean, look, I am not like a geeky person, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that is a form of art as well, you know what I mean? And there are some people that's really mastered how to visually tell those stories, right? But I'm more attracted to different kinds of stories, really character-driven stories, because I get excited about that. I get excited about bold, stories, resilient stories, redemptive stories, like real character stuff, like where I want to be able to, direct stuff that's going to help people win Oscars and get awards and, touch people's hearts and minds and souls. And I'm just attracted to other stuff, although we know what's coming. And I feel like we have to learn. Like, I know a lot of friends that's into all the Marvel stuff and this and that, but I like that stuff, but I'm just attracted to different kinds of stories. And we all have our voice and the purpose of our voice. And I feel like we have to own whatever our truth is. Like, I'm not, into sci-fi.
Right. So you're not doing that.
No.
It wouldn't feel authentic.
No, it just wouldn't. And you could probably see it.
I mean, your reputation with the audience is important to you, right? Like, I know whenever I see Tasha show up, she's great, right? And it's not like, well, she was great here, but over there she wasn't, right? I have a different relationship with that actor, right? So you are like, I gotta make sure every time they see me, I am living in my purpose, all right? I set myself up to succeed. This is not my thing, so I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah. I think that like people expect me to be honest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, to be honest. Like, I feel like over the years, the only way I've known to really present myself is in an honest way, and I expose a lot of myself. I'm not one that's like got a lot of skeletons in the closet. I remember one friend was like, "Are you hiding anything?" Like, there isn't anything that I've hidden. Like, I remember I was very ashamed of the fact that I used to be a stripper. I used to do drugs. I dropped out of high school, all of those things. And I remember as I started becoming successful, I was fearful. I used to think that somebody was going to have a Polaroid of me with a G-string on, you know what I mean, on a pole. Okay. I was like, let me hurry up and tell it before someone else tries to shame me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to let, which I feel is the devil, get any room to try to shame me from something I have done or from who I honestly am. You have a lot of people that are hiding. I don't hide. This is who I am, period. I used to be a hoe. I went on a sabbatical. I was celibate 8 years. No, let me stop. But serious. Like, can't nobody be like, oh, Tasha used to be in them streets. Tasha told you she was in them streets. Tasha used to do so much cocaine. Tasha told you she used to do a whole lot of cocaine. And I'm honestly glad I've been there, done that, did it. Now I can focus on other things. Okay.
Yes, for sure. You're hysterical. You're hysterical.
T.
Who are some of the actors you watched or watch now to say, that's how it's done, that's who I need to learn from?
Honestly, I mean, I started looking at Diana Ross in Lady Sings the Blues, Angela Bassett in What's Love Got to Do with It, Tyra Farrell, who I don't know if you remember Tyra Farrell from Boys in the Hood. She played Ice Cube's mom.
Oh, yeah.
And she was in a bunch of movies. Tyra Farrell, oh my gosh, she's like a sister to me, as well as Angela. And Marianne Jean-Baptiste, who is a brilliant English actress that's in a film called Hard Truths that was nominated for an Oscar of Michael Lee's movie called Secrets and Lies. Charles S. Dutton, I was his assistant. You know what I'm saying? And I got a chance to watch him, work with him, assist him during his, on Broadway, on Rock, in films, as a director. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've gotten I feel like I've been raised by wolves just from my friend group. You know what I mean? Like, it was always important for me to have mentors in my life, to have people in my life that I could look up to, Angela, Courtney B. Vance. I mean, when you have people of substance in your life, it makes you want to do better, make them proud of you, make the right choices, behave a certain way on set, be responsible, be accountable. You know what I mean? So I was always surrounded by a lot of older people that I felt like helped guide me, laid out a path for me, gave me a path, said this is a path. Hard work, dedication, respect, show up on time, be respectful, be loving, be kind to your crew, to everyone on set. Like, love people, respect people, give people grace, mercy. Like, I've just been, I'm telling you, I have some incredible people in my life.
So yes, all those professionalism things stipulated. Yes. But what is the best advice you've gotten from those folks on, when they say action and you're doing the thing, like how to best be great then?
Tell the truth. Tell the truth and do your work and prepare. You know, the work, and Marianne would always say this, the work doesn't start when you get to set. That's not when the job starts. The job does not start in your trailer learning your lines.
Starts at home.
It starts weeks before. It starts the second you get the material. And it's not done. The work isn't done until the director says, check the gate, we got it, now we're moving on. It doesn't stop until it's in the can. So being as disciplined to the work, to the process, to the preparation, you know, as possible, and also being respectful of other people's time. Like, as an actor, showing up on time, you know, respecting the time that the director has been given. And even me becoming a director, I understand that even more. Like, it's become a big part of what I teach even more to actors, because there have been times I may have had the most incredible plans, but could not do it because an actor didn't know their lines, wasn't on time, you know, things like that. It's like just understanding that making a movie or a TV show is a collaboration and everyone has a job to do, and you only get but a certain amount of time in the day to accomplish that goal. And it becomes a race against time. Like, literally, you're like, I only got 1 hour. I got to get this. I got 2 scenes. And it becomes that. But when everyone comes in prepared and on time, you could actually make some great TV.
Thanks so much to Tasha for a great interview, and thanks to you for listening. Touré Show gives you fuel to power your dreams, because you can use your dreams like a rocket ship to blast you into a life you never imagined. You can make your dreams a reality, and this show can help. You can find me on Instagram at Touré Show and on TikTok at Touré Show. Touré Show is written by me, Touré, and produced by Ashley Hobbs. Our editor is Ryan Woodhall. Our booker is Ray Holiday. We're distributed by DCP Entertainment. And we will be back next Wednesday with more amazing guests, because the man can't shut us down.